Sorry. 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 If you're offended, sorry. 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 If you're offended, sorry.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is January 25th, 2020. I got confused there for a second because I wanted to say 2020 because it's the smarter thing to say instead of 2000. But
Is it smarter?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe saying 2020 is smarter.
I think 2020 sounds like faux hipster. I don't like.
Yeah, it's just like the abbreviation,
Yeah.
kind of.
2020.
Yep, 2020, guys. Let's say that. Let's bring that back. Let's bring back smart talking, which I'm not doing right now. It's a Saturday, and today is our 8th episode, which when I was going through Run earlier, I thought about it. Once we get 13 episodes, we're like a quarter of a year in.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of us for staying consistent.
Yeah, this is
8 weeks
awesome.
in a row.
This is really cool, guys. I appreciate you guys listening as well. So let's actually just kick in with some topics here that are a little touchbacks to past weeks. So in the news, the coronavirus that started in China is now in the United States, and one of those states is including Michigan. So how do you feel about that, and do you think Bill Gates called it?
I think Corona is gross. Drink Dos Equis. No, I'm just kidding. I actually just reading up on this today. It's scary, honestly. My understanding, though, is that from what I read in the article today, is that coronavirus is something that most people will contract at some point in their life. So I guess it's the severity of it that concerns me. It is interesting that weeks after Bill Gates talked about global pandemic, this is starting to break out.
Yeah, exactly. It's very ironic. And it's just, I mean, let's be honest, this might not be as serious as we're making it out to be. But
it's pretty serious in China right now, from what I understand.
Yeah, there it's really crazy. But then it makes you also think, do you think this could have been China's, like, attack? Or what if it was, I remember a couple weeks ago or months ago, something about Kim Jong-un, South Korea leader, saying things like, don't worry about nuclear missiles, we're going to get you guys some other way. Like, what if he I mean, I'm not saying he did, but just, this could be some, like, crazy thing that the government's done to just purposely try to start something. Yeah,
the idea of biological warfare is really terrifying to me. I would hope, and of course maybe this is giving people too much credit, but I would hope that these leaders, when threatening biological warfare, consider the fact that once you let something like this out, there's no stopping it from, spreading across the world and into their own country. You know? The thing with China that's, interesting, or a point that should be considered, I guess, is that there are so many people in China. It's just, like, unbelievable. The population density in these cities where it's spreading is just so much greater than what we have here in the United States. So these things spread way more quickly because they're living in such close quarters, So I think that's part of the reason why it's such a big deal there. Here, of course, it's cause for concern, but as of right now, we only see 3 cases in Michigan, know, so it could be an outlier. It could be a one-off, someone who traveled to China, spread it to somebody else.
That's what I think this said is, was a couple people went to China, or they knew someone that recently was in China, and right now they're just kind of quarantined, so. Yeah,
it's really scary. I mean, it's something that's definitely worth monitoring, and it should be something that, if nothing else, it inspires you to use universal precautions, like wash your hands.
Yep. Make sure you wash your hands, guys.
Cover your face when you sneeze, that kind of thing,
Definitely. I'm going to be taking a flight here tomorrow. I'm going to be definitely carrying lots of hand sanitizer on me.
Are you going to be one of those people that has, like, the surgical mask on in the airport?
I know it sounds stupid and crazy. I really thought about it. But then I have this ski mask. Like, it's just a thing that you just roll up over your face just to cover the bottom half of your face. I was thinking about just wearing that, but then I thought I would even look crazier, like I'm trying to, like, rob the airport or something.
Forgive my ignorance, but, like, how effective is a surgical mask for really, like, stopping you from contracting viruses?
I mean, they gotta be somewhat, because they're protecting people in surgeries, right? That's the whole point of them, is that both ways, like, it protects the doctor from infecting the person they've cut open, or vice versa.
When it comes to, like, a surgery and stuff like that, though, a doctor is, like, fully scrubbed in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're completely sterile. They don't even put their own gloves on, you know? Joe Schmo at the airport who just like got done picking his wedgie and put his surgical mask on. Not quite the same thing, you know.
No, I agree. I don't know. It's crazy to think because they just throw you in like this little can and like, hey, breathe this air, guys. We're just gonna recycle this air. Just keep breathing it.
I mean, the whole concept of flight is mind-boggling. If you really stop and think about it, like, we don't belong up there.
No, we don't.
It's such a weird thing.
It is. A lot of things we're just like taught, just like, oh, it makes sense, and never think about it. Like, and that's one of them. Like, yeah, flight makes sense.
Like the pure force that propels a jumbo jet.
Yes, all that weight.
It's like really, it's kind of like, it's like modern day magic. It's like back in the medieval days when people would see things and not know how to explain them, and they'd be like, that's magic. Like, that's what flight is to me, because I can't explain it. Like, I understand that there are like a lot of mathematical and scientific principles that go into making these aircraft able to fly, but I can't explain it. So I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's magic, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's just, it's like a ride. Like, you're so excited.
Like, what
nothing makes
go?
sense.
Like, here's the thing. Like, a plane doesn't flap its wings, you know? Like, like I said, like the whole fact that the turbines propel it through the air, and the fact that they're able to do so at such incredible speeds, like, it blows my mind, because I don't understand how it's like possible.
Yeah, it's just like freaking two giant fans on the side of a plane just sucking in air and blowing air out the other end.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Strong enough to keep however many tons a plane is, including the people and the luggage on it, up in the air for hours at a time.
Yeah, so that's crazy enough as it is for me to even begin to think about. But then, yeah, like you said, you're basically locked in this tiny tin can with 300 other people with what God knows what going on in their bodies, you know, and you're just like breathing the same air for however many hours. How long is your flight to Colorado?
It is 3 hours.
3 hours. So that's not bad, but still, that's 3 hours of just sharing the same air.
Yep. And I'm going to call my mom out on this episode. Every time I've ever flown with her, she's she's really scared of germs. Like, overly scared of germs. So she always has, like, hand sanitizer on her, and she always has, like, the wipes and stuff. So I got on a flight with her, and she wiped down just the seat, and that wipe was, like, black.
Okay, so that makes me think about a weird thing, though. Like, does that really do you any good? Because the seat is still touching the floor. And, like, that's how germs spread, is by contact, right? So, like,
yeah, they should just be able to climb.
That they should still be able to spread. Like, I think about that when I go to the grocery store and, like, I grab my cart and I get the wipe and I wipe the handle down, like, because people are looking at me and I feel like I'm supposed to. But I don't do it because I'm afraid of germs, because the whole time I'm just thinking, I'm not wiping this whole fucking cart down. Like, if there are germs from spoiled meat or, you know, runny noses or whatever, they're all over this fucking cart. So me wiping this handle down, I'm doing nothing. I'm putting on a show, you know?
Yep. And I mean, the whole other thing, they say the scientific thing too, is the overuse of hand sanitizer and stuff like that actually weakens your immune system.
Yeah.
So if you ever do get caught with one of those diseases or caught with one of those germs, it's going to hit you 100 times harder than just if you were dirty.
That's why I, like, seldomly use hand sanitizer. I'd rather go and wash my hands, you know?
Yep, I feel you.
So, yeah, it's a little scary. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. Definitely something for us to keep our eyes on. And the timing in concert with what Bill Gates just recently said is definitely interesting.
All right, well, let's go to our next topic. And it talks about something we talked about last week. Some person that I really don't want to bring up again, but hey, it's...
Is it Wendy Williams?
No, it's not Wendy Williams. It is Antonio Brown at it again. Did you hear the new news?
I did hear the new news, and actually I'm glad about this one, but go ahead and fill the listeners in before we get into it.
All right, well, this week it started off with he had a warrant for his arrest, and then he eventually turns himself in. He gets released on bond for $110,000, and then he's now using this as a plug for his new song, because I don't know if you know this, he's trying to become a musician, a rapper.
Of course he is.
So this is a new plug for his new song, and the new song is called Goals. So I just wanted to bring the ironic twist to the story that his song is called Goals, and I guess this is some of his goals, which is really fucked up. But first and foremost, let's open this link here so you can see him turning himself in.
I did see this picture, yeah. What is he wearing? Like a bulletproof vest or something?
Yeah, I don't know what he's wearing. It looks like a flak jacket.
Hey, even before he completely lost his mind, he's always been a strange guy when it comes to, like, fashion and things like that. The reason I said that I was happy to hear this, though, the thing that's interesting about this whole thing is that part of him being released on bond is that he's being ordered to, number one, turn in all of his guns, and number two, undergo psychiatric evaluation, which is something we talked about the other day.
Yes, that he needs.
It's something that I think he desperately needs. So the best thing I can say about this is that hopefully this is a catalyst to Antonio Brown getting some help, because I think he really needs it, honestly.
I completely agree. And we never really did touch on it. I kind of just brushed it over trying to open this article. But what he did do, so everyone knows, is that he had a moving company come move some stuff in. He refused to pay them. So then the driver was like leaving. So then he like threw something at the truck, and then it damaged the truck. So then he actually paid for the moving thing, but then the truck driver wanted more money for the damage to the truck that he did. So he punched the truck driver. And this is what started the whole entire thing for his warrant.
This guy is just, it's one story after another. Like I said, I mean, the best thing of this, again, is I just hope that he gets some help. I think he seriously has some problems.
But I think the topic of discussion, though, is, do you think, I mean, he's court ordered to get help. And I think my take on it is, anytime you're ordered to do something, you don't really take it. I think you're not going to help yourself until you want to help yourself.
That's true.
So I'm almost, like I said, he's now coming out with a song called Goals, and he's using all of this.
Well, okay, yeah, you're probably right about that, but at the end of the day, he has to sit down and talk to a psychiatrist. He has to have an evaluation. So
at least it's a step.
He doesn't have a say in it, and it's not like when you're having a psychiatric evaluation, for a court order, it's not like it's just, hey, let's sit down and talk, and you can get up and leave whenever you feel like it. Like, if they notice something in him that is, potentially dangerous to himself or his wife, or
anyone,
or whoever, then there is going to be further steps that are taken. The judge is going to mandate it. So hopefully this turns out for the best. It's not his choice at this point, which is probably the best thing for him.
I completely agree. Let's just, again, we'll see how this unfolds in the next coming weeks. Maybe I don't know if I want to keep bringing up Antonio Brown, but
we'll see. I mean, if there's more exciting drama, we'll fill you guys in.
All right, to the next subject, which is one of the last few ones I have. It's a kind of short week, guys. Recently, the Trump administration removes federal protections from streams and wetlands. Did you hear about this?
I did hear a little bit about this, but go ahead.
All right, yeah. So I want to. I wrote some stuff down from the article that I guess I kind of just want to touch over. It's kind of a lot, so I don't know if I really want to touch over all of it. So the updated rule will replace protections that are currently only in effect in some states, but have faced multiple legal challenges. Under the EPA's new rules, the federal government will no longer protect streams that flow during some parts of the year or after heavy rain or wetlands that are not connected to large bodies of water. The Trump administration will, however, still maintain federal protections for navigable waters such as major rivers and lakes and other tributaries and wetlands that flow directly into them. Advocates to keep the protections, though, argue that seasonal streams and wetlands can play a big role in controlling flooding, and then removing protections could jeopardize that and allow more pollution to flow downstream when it rains. To kind of shorten up all this stuff, farmers, ranchers, and developers all approve of what Trump is doing. The actual former EPA administrator called the old protections a government overreach in order to regulate a dry pond or creek bed as water of the United States.
Really?
Yeah, so they're trying to say that it wasn't necessarily necessary.
And that's the former EPA?
Right now, I think that's Trump's appointed.
Trump's. Okay.
But a group of scientific advisors to the EPA are saying that a new rule is in conflict with established science, and a change to the old rule could actually decrease protections for our nation's waters.
So you said that something interesting to me there. You said that farmers and ranchers are on board with this. Like, I expect developers to be on board with it, obviously, but farmers and ranchers, why are they so in support of this?
Because it has a lot to do with their fertilizer and stuff like that, and where their runoff goes.
Oh, okay.
So if it goes into a creek, so they got to make sure their runoff doesn't go into like a creek or stream, any kind of creek or stream.
So it makes it easier for them to dispose of waste and things like that.
Trump had this to say: The rule gave bureaucrats virtually unlimited authority to regulate stock tanks, drainage ditches, and isolated ponds as navigable waterways and navigable water. And then he adds, as long as I am president, government will never micromanage America's farmers. You're going to micromanage your own farm, and that's the way it should be.
I kind of agree with that. I guess it would depend on. I think it should be something that's on a case-by-case basis. So I do kind of agree with Trump that if it's your own private land and, this water that's, in question is contained entirely on your own private land, then it's your own fucking business to do what you want with, like, such as ponds and things like that. But if it's something that is tied into the larger watershed of the area, then I think it's well within the rights of the EPA to regulate it, and that's exactly what they exist for. So
yeah, because one of their things is critics of the change cited their analysis saying that Trump administration is ignoring the impact of seasonal streams that still have tangible impact downstream in the event of heavy rain or flooding that may wash dirt, debris, or pollution into rivers or lakes that provide drinking water or support wildlife. The Trump administration argues that many states already have water protection rules in place that are stronger than the federal regulations, and that the issue is better left to the states to oversee for that area.
I agree with that. I think that there are certain issues when it comes to things like this with environment and larger impact that the states should have the power to regulate on, because what does the federal government in Washington, D.C. know about what's happening in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan as far as, the economic impact of a small tributary or something like that? They really don't. There are people who spend their lives devoted to these areas and protecting these areas. I think there are a lot of issues when it comes to preserving natural environments that the states should have the ultimate authority over, because they are more knowledgeable about the impact over the larger ecosystem. But again, I think it needs to be on a case-by-case basis. If this is something that could potentially affect a large group of people, a major metropolitan area, for instance, then yeah, the federal government needs to be able to step in and regulate. But overall, I'm never against protecting our natural resources because they're so few and far between these days, and they're diminishing rapidly. So if this whole thing is a way for Trump to open up for development and to, create more business or to scratch somebody's back in big industry, then
yeah, you don't really approve of it.
No, 100%. So I honestly, I don't know enough about the issue to weigh in too heavily on it, but I would say that if people are that upset about it, then the best thing I can tell you is that there's an election coming up in 11 months, and if you don't like it, then now's the time to have your voice heard, right?
Yeah, or write your congressman.
Yeah.
Or congresswoman.
Take steps to try and make a difference other than bitching about it on the internet.
Yep, because that's actually not making a difference. I mean, I guess you're help spreading the word, but you're not really doing anything besides that.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next thing that's not even a subject. It's just something that I kind of thought about.
Okay.
So I seen a meme the other day that was talking about how the government taxes us for everything. You buy something, they tax you. You sell something, they tax you. Income tax, federal tax, city tax, state tax.
And as I say, you own something like a house, they tax you.
Yeah, so it's like you always get taxed. So then it really got me thinking, and it made me think how both sides, Democratic and Republican, both really don't want more taxes. Yet only one side is voting for people that want to raise taxes. Because here's an interesting thing. Like, I don't know if you've seen Bernie Sanders came out with like how much you'd save on his plan thing that's supposed to calculate how much money you'd save.
No, I didn't see that.
He came out with this little calculator thing that would tell you how much money you saved. I am actually would pay $700 more a year for his plan.
For healthcare?
For just taxes in general.
You'd pay $700 more a year, and
yes.
what would
based on how much money me and
what would
Rachel make?
What
and
would
then
the net tangible benefit be? What would you gain in return for that?
Free health care. Maybe I don't know if they'd take my loans off or not, but
I mean,
it was just a calculator, and then I seen a lot of people.
I'd pay $700 a year for free health care, and my student loans to go.
Well, I don't know if I'm not necessarily saying student loans would go. Or we'd get free health care. That was just what supposedly you would...
No, it sounds like a dream. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, I just think it's crazy that, I don't know, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna probably vote for Bernie. That's the one person I kind of really like, and that's the one I think out of the people I do like actually stands a chance of winning. So that's probably who I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, he's surging in the polls right now. I was just reading something about how people are like super upset that Joe Rogan endorsed him. It's like a big thing on Twitter. Like people are losing their mind on both sides, are losing their minds.
Yeah, I just listened to that actually today. That podcast that he endorsed. He said that between him and Tulsi, he would take Joe and Bernie Sanders. And I mean, it's a smart thing, like, right?
Well,
I mean,
apparently people are very upset about it. Like Democrats and Republicans are both very upset about it. So, which is hilarious to me.
Well, Republicans shouldn't be upset at all because Joe Rogan was never Republican.
Yeah, but they think that he is. They view
I know
him as more Republican just because he's open-minded.
Yes. But yeah, it's just so. My opinion is I'd probably am gonna vote Bernie, but I'm really scared at how far left he is. That's what scares me the most. I'm afraid that it would be even more of a failure of a presidency because he won't be able to get stuff passed. The things he wants to get passed aren't going to actually get passed, and then
the congressional elections are going to be hugely important. No matter which way the presidential election goes, the congressional elections are going to be huge. I mean, I don't even know how many congressional seats are open in this election, but I agree with you because it's going to be a real big problem to try and institute that kind of change and not have the support of the House and the Senate is impossible. Mm-hmm. So he can say everything that he wants. That sounds like a dream, but
yeah. See, that's what I feel like the Democrats don't realize is that like they look at Trump as some radical, completely right wing, crazy person, and they want all the stuff that he wants to get done. Like he's getting stuff passed because he has the Senate with him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the other thing too is that Bernie scares a lot of Republicans or conservatives,
and they're never going to vote for his things
because of the tax thing. There are people who are just adamantly no more taxes. I'm not paying more taxes. I don't care what I get in return. There are people who will just straight up tell you like, I'm not fucking paying for your health care. Get a job. And I'm not saying that's the right way to think, but that's how people in this country think. Mm-hmm. So for Bernie to be like outright like socialism, to the umpteenth degree, like he's going to lose a lot of votes just because of that. And there are people who otherwise may not have voted for Trump that will vote for Trump just to not have to do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's a scary thing, I guess. But I feel like either way, what we're doing right now is not working.
No, I agree. And
as far as the taxes go, I guess it depends on where you're being taxed and how it hits you. You know what I'm saying? Because here's what I work in finance, so here's what I kind of observe is that people look at how it affects their day-to-day life. So like you say, I'm going to have to pay $700 more a year in taxes. Is that at tax time? Is that, broken up over, 26 paychecks? Is that, a monthly thing? How is that going to affect what is coming out of your pocket right now? And that's what people look at. Because if you say, hey, one time $700 payment at tax time, some people will be like, all right, fuck, I don't care because that's money that I don't have anyways. I get my tax money back. That's like a party money. That's play money.
Yep.
Some people depend on that, and that one-time $700 payment is huge for them because, that might be the only time of year where they come into a lump sum of cash and consolidate debt and things like that. So it's I would have to see how it's being rolled out before I could effectively tell you, how I feel about it personally. But I think that depending on how they decide to do it or how they pitch it to the American public is also going to kind of sway the opinion of a lot of people,
Yep. I got in an argument actually the other day about taxes with one of our friends at trivia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then the host of trivia came over and I got in an argument with him as well.
You love to argue with people. What was the argument?
This is a very right-wing kind of stance I have on it, but they hate capitalism, so they want to raise taxes as much as they can on the rich.
I don't understand that. I'm glad that you said that. I don't understand this. I see this on Facebook all the time, like these people who are like anti-capitalism. Like anybody listening to this who can clear this up for me, like concisely and put it into words that aren't just ranting and raving, please email us and fill me in. What the fuck is this thing with people hating capitalism? What is it that you want? What is going to replace capitalism? Capitalism is the American dream.
Yeah, it's what we have right now. It's why you have these freedoms. It's like
it is the American dream.
It fuels that.
What do you think you're going to do? Go back to fucking trading nuts and berries for rent? Like, no. Those days are gone. What program is it that you think you're going to replace capitalism with? And what gives you the right to tell people that they don't have the right to
what to do with their money?
To embark, yes, and to embark on a capitalist endeavor, like to open their own business or to whatever, invest their money in the way that they want to. It's just you, like, the people who I see pitching this anti-capitalism things are the ones who think that they're the most woke and the most freedom conscious, and it's like, but no, you're just alienating other people's rights, because there are plenty of people in this world who live and breathe it by capitalism. That's what they live for, is for the pursuit of wealth or successful business ventures or whatever it may be. So they have that right too. What's to tell you that they don't have the right to make as much fucking money as they can possibly make,
and do whatever they want.
Do whatever they want with the money that they make based on their own hard work or their employees' hard work. Because here's the thing: these same people are usually the ones who are like anti management or like anti
establishment.
I work so hard for my boss to get rich. It's like, yes, you do, because your boss is the business owner.
Yes, he's the one that takes all the responsibilities and all the things that come on with the business.
Yes, that's their fucking prerogative. They can pay you whatever they want. But here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to work for them. Go somewhere else.
And you could open your own business.
Open your own business, yes. Take the steps to put yourself to be in their position, or don't, if that's what you want to do. Because under a capitalist market, you have the right to do it or to not do it. That's your choice. But for you to say that it needs to go out the window because it's, slavery or whatever, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
No, we got in a huge argument, and they were and the whole thing too is like, if you were the other way around, the people that are saying this are the people that don't have money. Like, I don't even have much money, but I used to think that way. I used to think, they have so much money, they need to spread the money out to everyone. But it's like,
it's their money.
Yes, it's their right to do what they want with their money.
I am like currently poverty level, okay, based on my salary, but it's their money.
Yes,
I understand that. I respect that.
And if you get that much money, you don't want people that have no money telling you what to do with your money.
No, if I choose to be a philanthropist and reinvest it into communities or give it back to people, that's my fucking choice. It's my money.
Yes, there's a reason you have that much money, is because you knew what to do with your money.
Right.
So.
Especially in scenarios where it's not just like inheritance or, what I'm saying, like family money, trust funds, things like that. People who actually went out into the world and like built businesses from the ground up. The Bill Gates, the Jeff Bezos, the fucking
Mark Cuban,
Dan Gilbert, whoever the fuck. These people started from the bottom, built their empire. Now
American dream.
Now they have more money than God, and people are like, well, they got too much money. It's like, well, why don't you do the same thing?
Yep.
You got to come up with your own original idea. Hey, I can't do it. I not everybody can do it. I understand that. I haven't come up with that idea. That's why I'm sitting in your basement doing this with you right now. Like, I get that, but I don't hate on them for it. I understand that, and I don't get the whole. Like I said, I don't get the whole mentality of the anti-capitalism thing. It's something that irks me. I see it all the time, and it just fucking bothers me because I don't understand. And you ask these people, what is it that you want to replace it? And they don't have a fucking answer.
No, they don't know.
That's the whole thing.
Something's got to be better.
Yeah, but what?
Nothing. There isn't. I mean, it's.
Hey, I say it all the time. I'm totally open to having my mind changed. If I'm thinking about this the wrong way, please enlighten me. But you better have a good explanation of your thoughts or why you feel the way you feel, other than the fact that you're broke and lazy. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing you always hear is that they want people to regulate certain industries. Like, we got to regulate the stock market more. We got to
regulate what?
Just like how much money they make, and because you can take so much, as long as you don't cash out. I'm pretty sure. So let's say you put so much money into stocks, certain stock, and it goes up. As long as you don't cash out, it doesn't count as an earning.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Your net worth, so that you don't get taxed on that, because it's just sitting there. You're not using it until you actually take it out. You get taxed.
That makes sense.
So there's like different loopholes and stuff that work that are specific for the stock market, and people are trying to close these things. Well, it's like, if you have such a big problem with people making money on the stock market, you can
do the same
learn about the stock market.
You could do the same thing.
Yes. So instead of like trying to close people's way of making money because you're not making money doing what you do, like that's what kind of pisses me off. So I feel like just people look at their own situation and see other people and just try to, close them off.
Yeah, I don't understand that mentality. I see it, like I said, I see it on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, whatever. I see it all the time. People anti-capitalism. I just would like a thorough explanation as to why. And if you are right, great. I'll be the first person to congratulate you and tell you that I was wrong. But you better tell me what's better, because I don't know what it is. I don't think you do.
No. Don't get me wrong. I think there's some good socialist ideas.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you can mix both of them together and try to start something different. But there's that is on a whole another level for us because we don't understand it.
Yeah,
I know a little bit about capitalism. I know a little bit about socialism, but there's always like the government loopholes and everything that's like lawyer talk and shit, where it's like you got to understand everything to go on to like really create a government that could work.
Yeah.
And I don't know nothing about that to come up with an idea.
You got to kind of try to like make a hybrid. It doesn't have to be capitalism or socialism or, communism or whatever. Like, why not try something new?
Yeah.
I don't think that because Jeff Bezos makes $4 billion a year or whatever the fuck he makes, that means that he should have to support the entire state of Iowa. Like, you know what I mean?
Or just the United States in general.
Pay for everybody's health care or whatever the fuck, he earns that money because he built an empire. And you can have your own opinions about him as a person or what he does with his money. I personally think he's an asshole. But the point is, he's well within his rights as an individual to do what he wants to do with his money.
You know what I think the government kind of does?
What?
I guess not really the government. It's kind of the left wing. I feel like they kind of just try to point the finger from away from themselves.
I think both sides do that a lot.
Yeah, because if you really think about, we're blaming all of these companies and people for making too much money and not paying taxes, and they got us believing this. But we pay how much? Like you said, we pay so many taxes a year. Now think about it. That's just you. How many taxes you think you pay a year? Now times that by however many people are in the fucking United States paying taxes. That's a lot of money.
It is.
And our roads are depleted. Our education system is a joke.
We got to go back to where is the money being spent?
The government is spending it.
Yeah, but where is it being spent?
Military.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, the military budget is absurd,
huge.
It's absurd.
Which I'm not going to say it's not possibly necessary, but there are some stuff you can definitely cut out of it. Like I heard of a story years ago of them buying like coffee mugs that kept like breaking.
Yeah.
And they just purposely bought it because they needed to spend so much money to continue to get that money. So they would just buy shit that would purposely break, like really expensive coffee cups.
Yeah, I feel like the best thing for this country would be if like there was a CPA who was the president, like an accountant, just someone who just literally
just managed the books,
just some fucking some number nerd who just went through line item by line item.
Andrew Yang, dude.
Went through line item by line item with a red pen and was like, nope, yep, nope.
Yep.
I don't know what the answer is, but that is something. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I see quite a bit, and it bothers me because I just feel like people say things like this, have these extremist views, which I'm sorry, it is an extremist view to say you fucking hate capitalism, and they don't even know why they have the opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's because they live in their world that they're not happy about, which brings me up to another point that is not really a point at all, but I just think every person is in control of their own destiny. I know everyone goes through hardships and does crazy things, but you're the only person that's going to be able to pull yourself out of those hardships.
I agree with you.
So everyone, no matter what your thing is like you can't, even if something happened that was a reflection of some other thing happening in your life that really wasn't always your fault, it's still your responsibility.
Well, something I learned over the past 12 months or so, because I've been through I've been through a year of transition in my life where a lot of things have changed and I've changed quite a bit. and something that I've kind of arrived at and embraced and really believe is true is that is exactly what you just said. It's things are going to happen to you that you can't control. That's part of life. Things are going to pop up, good, bad, whatever, and they're going to come at you when you least expect them, and they're going to shatter your entire perception of what your life is or is going to be. And the only thing that you can control is how you react to these things. And you are in control of your mindset when you approach any issue in your life. Happiness is a choice. Like, there are people who have depression and things like that. I fully accept that. But there is a huge part of your outlook that is controlled simply by making the choice not to be miserable and not to be angry and to take the steps or to have the outlook that you can make things better for yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you that you are in control of your own destiny in the sense that you're in control of how you embrace the world around you. And once you accept that and you decide that you don't want to be miserable, you know, yeah, there's a lot of things that are fucked up in this world. There's a lot of things that are fucked up in this country, and there's a lot of things that are fucked up in every one of our own lives.
But the only thing you can change is the stuff in your life.
The only thing that you can change is the way that you look at it. And you can dwell on it, and you can be angry, and you can bitch about it on the internet. Or you can say, you know what? Yeah, all this shit sucks. But this isn't everything. I have all these other things in my life that I'm very happy about, that I'm proud of. I have these qualities about myself that I really like. And you can embrace those things, and you can continue to take steps forward, and you can decide that your own happiness is more important than all this other bullshit that you let weigh you down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, then you'll start to see doors open up for you, you know? It's like that book, The Secret, you know,
yeah,
which is really silly. Like, when that came out, I used to make fun of people for reading that, and I still don't think that The Secret is the answer to anything, but it is true. It's positivity breeds positivity in your life. Once you start having a positive outlook on your own life or your own self, who you are, you will start to see positive things happening in your life because people recognize that you're not a miserable fuck all the time, and people want to be around you, and they want to give you opportunities, and they want to open doors for you and allow you to open doors for yourself, give you the opportunity to create real change in your life because you're not just miserable. You're not bringing everything down around you. You're not contributing to the miasma that is all the bad of this world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's in control of their own destiny. And I think that one day, if you wake up and you just decide that I'm going to be happy, that you might still be sad about whatever's bringing you down, but you will be happier with who you are and where you're going, and you'll accomplish more.
Yeah, I completely agree. You got to be optimistic. You got to definitely stay positive. And
so if you're miserable because Jeff Bezos has $40 billion and he's not giving you any or paying for your health care, then there's something wrong with the way you're looking at the world. You need to look at your own life and say, okay, hey, my health care fucking sucks and it's way too expensive for me. And yeah, it's not fair that my prescriptions cost me $300 a month out of pocket. What can I do to improve my situation? You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, are in situations where they are stuck, where they need their prescriptions, like you said, and stuff like that. But not saying that they can necessarily get everything they need, but there's always holistic ways that help, you know, blood pressure and just random stuff, even blood sugar, like watching your diet. And there's always other things that you could do. I'm not trying to, you know.
There's always going to be there's always going to be challenges that are almost insurmountable. And when it comes to like medication and things like that, I guess that was a bad example because I do feel for people who are not able to afford their medications. But you are right in what you're saying. There are steps that they can take to improve their overall health.
Yes, where they can possibly get off the medication or just use
or make them make their overall situation better. You know, somebody who can't afford their medication right now and is physically ill, and they start taking steps to improve their physical well-being, and the next thing you know, they're able to go out and look for, you know, a new job or something that puts them in a position to be able to overcome these obstacles that life throws in our way. it's just opening doors for yourself by keeping the mindset that it's possible, rather than dwelling on what you don't have that somebody else has. That's the whole thing that I'm getting.
Yeah, I agree. You can't look at someone and be jealous and upset that someone's farther along than you and that they got all this stuff and you don't have anything.
Right. And then expect that magically things are just going to get better for you.
Yes, if you take stuff from them.
Right.
Like, that's not going to make you happier. It's not going to fix your problems.
No.
It's not. I think that's another thing is we're in this entitled mindset that's our generation. We're just kind of like a lot of us are entitled. We feel entitled.
I think every generation has different kinds of entitlement. They feel entitled in different ways. Yeah, our generation is terrible about it. I think the generation before us was terrible about it, and I think that people need to realize that you're not entitled to anything. That the only thing that you are entitled to is the things that you earn for yourself, and I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about the things that you accomplish for yourself. It could be a skill, it could be
just a goal.
A goal, yeah, achieving a goal. It could be anything. It's the work that you put into it, or into
your own life,
into achieving. That's the only thing that pays out. And I don't know what people think they're going to accomplish by trying to force people who have achieved to share what they've achieved with everybody else, because it's never going to happen.
Completely agree. All right, well, let's just finish this one off with just saying capitalism's not the problem. Other people aren't your problem.
Yeah, so the message of all this is that
work on yourself. I'm working on myself.
Every day I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be better, be a better version of myself, not just financially, but emotionally, my relationships. You get out of life what you put into it. And that's the only thing that you can bank on. So you can bitch and moan about capitalism or whatever you want, all you want, but nothing's going to change in your life unless you take the steps to change it.
Now, this last topic is a topic of discussion. It's just some random idea I kind of thought of while I was listening to another podcast that was talking about racism in America, and it brought up like the rise of anti-Semitism and stuff like that, which we've talked about kind of before. But then it made me really think, like, doesn't it seem like every group is like trying to pull that card?
Yeah, I think it's a very
like even the white people, like there's a rise in hating white males. There's a rise in hating black people. There's a rise in, like, is it just racism all over is rising, or do you think everyone's using that card as like trying to like draw the attention that they got it worse?
Yeah, I think that exposing or claiming to expose bigotry is a huge trend right now. And which I hate to say, because all these things are terrible. Anti-Semitism, racism, sexism.
Yeah, they do not do them. They're really bad things.
Yeah, they're deplorable, and nobody should engage in them. But they're things that have been around since the dawn of humanity, and honestly will always be around. And I'm not saying that's okay or justifying it. I'm just saying that it's always going to be an issue that we're fighting as a people. I feel like, short of aliens coming down and attacking the world and uniting us like Watchmen or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
I think that it's something that's always going to be, we're going to have to actively combat it. But I do think that in the world we live in right now, it's very trendy to claim to be the victim of this kind of behavior. And I do think that there's a chance, I can't say that it's happening, but I think that there's a chance that people are definitely taking advantage of that, and they're fabricating and they're exaggerating and they're using it as a badge of honor. And that's something that really bothers me. I've seen people that I know fabricating these kind of things, that that they have been victimized based on whatever, their gender, their skin color, their sexual affiliation, whatever it may be. And I gotta tell you, I've seen people that I know who have been exposed for fabricating.
Yeah, for lying about
it. So to think that it's not happening on a larger scale, I think would just be ignorant. It's almost assuredly happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's in anything. Like, there's always going to be the good, the real story, and there's always going to be the bad story, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying?
There's always three stories, right? Your story, my story, and the truth. That kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. Perfectly put.
But I think that people definitely use it as a way for publicity right now. You know what I mean? I mean, you just saw it with that guy, that actor that claimed
that was on like that one show. Yeah,
in Chicago.
Yeah, got beat up.
He claimed he got beat up by the police, and it was racism.
It was
and all
Trump
this shit.
Trump supporters.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was? Trump supporters. Yeah.
Trump supporters. The police actually investigated it and
that's what it
found
was.
out that it was
bullshit.
all a lie. Yeah.
So it definitely happens. It happens in the celebrity world, you know, and that's the danger. And it sucks that we even have to have this conversation, that we say that that's the danger of a society where we're trying to be socially conscious, but it is, because whenever there's something that can be taken advantage of, there's somebody who's going to take advantage of it. Because let's be honest, a lot of people in this world are very good people. The majority of people, I believe, are good, but there's always that minority that are going to take
advantage of it.
That are out for their own self preservation, or for their own gratification, or whatever word you want to use, that are not up to good things, and that look for an opportunity to expose and exploit, and it happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as anti-Semitism goes, you know, I can't really speak to that because we live in an area where the Jewish population is relatively small. So, you know, honestly, I don't know any Jewish people. You know, I know a few at work, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in my day-to-day life, I'm not really friends short of, you know, yourself, which is the closest thing to a Jewish friend.
Which again, I'm not full Jewish.
But no, you have
Jewish, but yes, I have
Jewish heritage. Exactly. You know, so I don't see it because I'm not around it a lot, but I'm sure it happens, and I'm sure it's happening more and more prevalently. But I also can see where there's a possibility that there are people who are taking advantage of the temperature of the room, you know? So
yeah, I think that there's just racism happening everywhere.
It is.
And the only way this is going to be a really radical thought and idea. The only way I really feel like you could actually fix it is by being friends with them.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm saying, like, if you know someone that's really racist that hates a certain group, the best thing you could do if you're friends with someone in that other group is to be friends with the racist and try to prove and show to him.
Demonstrate value.
Yes, and show to him that your other friends, like, bring them together. I know it sounds like a crazy radical thing, but I don't think you're going to convince someone who hates someone else to not hate that person by hating the person that hates someone.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's like people. I feel like we had this conversation before, and I don't know if we did it on the podcast or not. But I agree with you 100%. It's just like the people who are like, you know, punch every Nazi you see. Like, fuck, if you're a Nazi, fuck you for sure. But like, you're not going to convert them. And at the end of the day, this person is still a person. This person who claims to be a Nazi, they're still a person. So like, after you have this confrontation with them, you punch them in the face. Do you think they're going to get up and be like, I shouldn't be a Nazi anymore? They're going to be like, no, fuck this motherfucker.
Yeah, they're going to be even more upset.
Exactly why I hate these people. You know, you're not doing anything to change their mind or to rehabilitate them or to bring them around to being a contributing, functioning member of a society that is diverse. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I agree with you that, like,
you're just throwing gas on the fire.
Exactly. The best way to, mend fences, cross borders, bring people around to a realistic and reasonable way of thinking where we live in a culturally diverse society, and it's just something that you have to accept and realize that people are people, regardless of their skin color, their language, whatever. They're just fucking people. In order to help people to understand that, then you have to show them that is the case, that they're not different than you. You don't do that by attacking them or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty much the last topic I had. I was listening to something that made me think about racism. And
well, that's cool, because I feel like I've been ranting and rambling for the last 50 minutes, so I don't even know if any of this was coherent.
It was good. I think today was a good episode.
Yeah. So again, I mentioned it earlier, and we mention it all the time. We would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. If you can put an explanation into words as to what we're wrong about and why we're wrong about it, please email us. If you are somebody who we know that's listening to this, reach out to us. We'd love to have you come on and discuss it with us. It's just, I think that the main point of this entire podcast and everything we're trying to do is that we have to be able to have these conversations.
Yes, without arguing and screaming at each other.
Without getting angry and emotional.
Can't let our emotions get the best of us. I'm fucking awful at talking, guys. I'm sorry.
So, next week.
Yeah, so the next 3 weeks are going to probably be over the airwaves.
Yep. Scott's going to Colorado.
Call us the Postal Service.
So we're going to try and coordinate and be able to record from, I don't know, how many miles is Colorado from here? 2,000-ish?
It's like same as Florida, it's like 1,400, 1,500, 1,600.
So we're going to try and figure out if we're technologically knowledgeable enough to figure out how to record a couple episodes while he's gone. Yeah, so we're gonna try to make this happen, make this work, so we can continue to bring you guys new episodes, even from across these United States.
So don't say we're not in it for you guys, because we're totally in it for you. We know how hardcore our listeners are.
From Rocky Mountain's majesty to amber waves of grain.
Other than that, we are again up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Google Podcasts and Pocket Casts.
And our wonderful sponsor, Anchor.
Yes. The best one of all.
Yes.
They actually gave us the coolest page. You guys can go check it out with our information. You can even make contributions to our page and stuff like that. Definitely shoot us email like Drew said.
Hopefully once Scott gets back from Colorado, we'll be able to start having some guests on here to kind of liven things up and, maybe diversify the opinions in the room.
Yep, we'll even throw some video up as well. That'd be cool. I got the studio up, guys.
It's looking pretty cool.
Until next time, I am Scott.
And I'm Drew.
And this is Sorry If You're Offended.
Take care, guys.